I'm really excited about my next race. It's a race that's been often on my radar for many, many years, and yet I still haven't done it. So the race is the Coburg 24-hour track race. Well removed from the trails that I'm on now, the Coburg 24-hour is a track race where you see how far you can run in 24 hours. And yes, that's a lot of laps around a 400-metre track. Now, part of the reason that I've been able to do this race is that everything aligns. I don't really have the luxury of planning out my yearly race schedule based on just the races that I want to do. It all has to fit in with the other commitments, and in particular the kids' sport. But this year, this race just fits nicely. I've got that weekend free, I'm not at work, and the kids don't have any of their sport, so perfect. I put my entry into the Coburg 24-hour a bit later than probably the majority of the field, and the main reason for that is I wanted to see how I pulled up from the MVP Backyard Ultra. So I entered with less than 10 weeks to go, and therefore less than 10 weeks to focus my training. The good news for me is I pulled up after the Backyard Ultra so much better than I expected. I was able to get back into some good training sooner than I thought, and without any injury concerns or the legs being extremely beaten up. I can take fitness gains from the race rather than just purely having to rebuild after breaking myself right down. So how do we train for running as far as you can in 24 hours? Well, we begin with the goals. Some may say that you start with knowing where you are now, where your fitness currently is. But you know what? If I do that, that's going to limit myself, because recent fitness and race performance, well, they don't say I can reach the goals that I'm setting. So I've got three main goals for this race. And all three kind of feed off each other to support each other. If I get one of them right, I'm likely, or at least more likely, to nail the other two. Goal number one is I want to see if I can negative split the race. And that's apparently really hard to do in an event that goes for 24 hours. Goal number two is I want to play beyond 160 kilometres. So I want to go further than that 160 or 100 miles. And like what I was saying, if I look at my training and racing history, that goal isn't overly supported, since I only covered 12 hours and 80 kilometres at the Backyard Ultra a few weeks ago. And the furthest I've ever run in my whole life was 130 kilometres. And that was a DNF in a 100-miler a few years ago. So really, it's a big ask. And I'm trying to think of this goal as not that I hit 160 and I'm satisfied and done. It's like the minimum standard that I'm setting myself. The top end though, well, no limit. We certainly won't have these hills on the track. And my third goal for the Coburg 24 hour is I want to get through the race knowing and feeling like that I got most of it right without any major mistakes. And I appreciate there's no such thing as the perfect race, even though that's what we strive for and aim towards. What I'm thinking is that I need to get most of it right. For 24 hours, it's a very long time for things to get away without anything not going to plan or things going wrong. That's fine. I expect that to happen. I expect to have to problem solve. Now, part of that is the conditioning. Part of that is getting the logistics. But I think most of it is having the mental game on point. But goals are goals, and really they're just a tool, a guidance to help you achieve good things. Doesn't mean if I only hit 158 kilometres, don't hit that 160 and don't negatively split it, I've failed. In terms of those goals, yes, I've failed to meet them. In terms of my worth as a person, no, of course not. And if I do that, if I do run 158 kilometres, then I know I've run further than I ever have in my life. And those goals, trying to achieve them, even though I didn't hit the actual benchmark, would mean that I still achieved something that I hadn't done before. I've taken a bit of time, a fair bit of thought, a fair bit of meditation to decide on these three goals. And by negatively splitting, in short, it hopefully keeps me smart and honest early on and helps keep me honest and giving that drive to really push it later in the race. And that third goal about not making any major mistakes, come away thinking that I got most of it right, holds me much more accountable within the race itself at all points. So hopefully I can stay on track and make the right decisions every time I need to make a decision. Now, these three goals themselves, they don't really give the exact specifics of what paces to hit each lap, exactly the strategy of how I'm going to run the laps. Is there any walking breaks? What I'm going to do for food? What exactly I'm going to do for training? But they set the pillars from which we work all of that out. And all of that itself, well, that's got a lot of detail, and that's worth a video.